Ya Ali Mother, I hope you're all keeping well and safe. My name is Nazir Manji and I will be your host for this evening. Before I share the programme for tonight, here are some highlights of the board activities this week. Tomorrow, join the Golden Club at 12:30 p.m, consisting of faith and well-being talks and an opportunity for the members of the Jamaat to socialise and support lifelong learning. Details on how to join can be found in this week's Al Sahar. On Tuesday, the 1st of June at 8:30 p.m, the Aga Khan Health Board, the Healthy Minds team presents Session 3, Managing Anxiety. What can we do about it? We all experience anxiety from time to time in our everyday lives. Anxiety may present differently for everyone, including how it affects our thoughts, our feelings and our behaviours. Join us on Tuesday, the 1st of June at 8:30 p.m. to learn more about managing anxiety and how we can practice different techniques to see what works for each of us. Register via the Ismaili app. On Wednesday, the 2nd of June at 11 a.m, the Aga Khan Economic Planning Board, in association with PwC, presents The World Post-COVID-19, Part 1, with Lord Barwell. Are we entering a new paradigm where government policy is likely to play a much bigger role going forward? What is driving policy decisions? Where is policy likely to go over the coming years? And what are the opportunities and challenges that lie ahead? Join us as we put these questions to Lord Barwell, former Chief of Staff to then Prime Minister Theresa May and Strategic Advisor to PwC. In the afternoon at 2 p.m. on Wednesday the 2nd of June, join the Aga Khan Foundation for a talk on restoring the values of the past, creating a school of music in Tajikistan. In this talk, Otanbek Mastibekov will share why he felt compelled to establish a music school in Tajikistan that focused on the teachings and promotion of devotional songs and music of the Badakhshani, Pamiri, Ismaili Muslims. Dr. Mastibekov will explore how components and religious and cultural values were lost during the Soviet period in Tajikistan, and the role of the music school in restoring these values. He will share the challenges involved in establishing the school, of recovering the knowledge related to this historical musical tradition, as well as learning about the origin of Badakhshani musical instruments. Dr. Mastibekov will share stories and video clips of students at the musical school and his plans and hopes for the future. Finally, he will touch upon the history of Maria literature and the manuscript preservation and analysis work at the Ismaili Special Collection Unit at the Institute of Ismaili Studies. Details on how to join the session on Wednesday the 2nd of June at 2 p.m. can be found in this week's Al Sahar. And now, on to tonight's programme. From COVID response to social welfare and cultural change, Ismaili CIVIC is a global entity that leads change and makes a difference within the societies we reside. Over the past year, Ismaili CIVIC has been involved with 50 different projects, including giving donations of food and warm clothes and making the Ismaili Centre London the first Jamaat-khana globally to become a testing centre. We hope you enjoy this informative and enlightening video, which includes many of our Ismaili CIVIC dedicated volunteers. Continue to stay safe and well. Ya Ali Madad.
I am fortunate to lead an international community with a strong social conscience, bridging North and South, East and West, the Ismailis have a long tradition of philanthropy, self-reliance, and voluntary service. Wherever they live, they faithfully abide by the Quranic ethic of a common humanity and a dignity of man. They willingly pool knowledge and resources with all those who share our social ethic to help improve the quality of life of less fortunate men, women, and children.
It is the wish of His Highness the Aga Khan that we strive to make a difference to those amongst us, to help improve their standard of living and to create a better world. These teachings exemplify the core values of our community: service, peace, compassion, and care. They underpin everything we do as Ismailis and have led to the birth of Ismaili CIVIC. Ismaili CIVIC engages and unites around a mission to serve humanity, both within our Jamaat Khanas, our places of worship, and within our local communities. Set up just over a year ago, Ismaili CIVIC has grown rapidly to an organisation of over 350 dedicated volunteers from across the UK. Together, we have delivered 50 projects thus far, amounting to over 11,000 volunteer hours that have aided over 32,000 beneficiaries. Volunteers have embraced this challenge by giving their time, skills, and resources to deliver a plethora of projects that support the vulnerable in our society. Never before has this sense of civic duty and collective responsibility been more important as we continue to battle the current global pandemic. In order to harness the Jamaat's diversity, unique capabilities and passion, Ismaili CIVIC focuses on the following areas of support: communication, helping disseminate vital information through aiding translations and utilising community channels; provisions, coordination and logistics to gather donations, collections and deliveries of food, PPE and other essential items; manpower, our boots on the ground resource to help pack the food or essential goods, physically make the deliveries or provide patient transport; check-in and chat, offering conversational support to people via the phone or through other virtual means; mentoring, professional support in the form of time and knowledge from professionals within our community; locations, offering the use of our religious, social and educational hubs on a case-by-case basis. These themes not only form the basis for our COVID-19 response, but also capture our longer-term objectives. In facilitating our mandate, we have expanded numerous partnerships, including the likes of the Prince's Trust, Age UK, and FairShare, to name a few. Our Ismaili CIVIC team and Jamaat Khana representatives have also engaged with local charities, social welfare groups, local government, and other faith groups, all with one goal in mind: to ensure that we can make a positive difference to those most in need within our society, regardless of age, gender, race, or religion. We have activated over 50 projects to date, but our requirements are ever growing, and we are always looking for more support to assist in any way possible. We continue with our national COVID-19 response, as well as up-and-coming projects on climate change, empowering women, pluralism, and health issues. Irrespective of your time restraints, where you live, or whether you have done anything like this before, all our Ismaili CIVIC volunteers need is passion and enthusiasm. His Highness the Aga Khan's long-term ambition is that eventually all external facing voluntary work that engages civil society will fall under the Ismaili CIVIC banner, bringing together the external activities of the Ismaili Volunteer Corps alongside the Aga Khan Youth and Sports Board, all under one umbrella. If you or anyone you know would like to help or get more information, please visit the Ismaili CIVIC website on the .ismaili or speak to your local Jamaat Khana representative. For now, enjoy some highlights of our work completed to date. We thank everyone who has got involved, and we look forward to more of our community working together in the future.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. The Ismaili faith is one that is very much grounded in the notion of service. Service is a means through which we can live the Islamic ethics of unity, pluralism, and humility. And in the words of His Highness the Aga Khan, the spiritual leader of the Shia Ismaili Muslims, and I quote, "One of the energizing forces that makes a quality civil society possible is the readiness of its citizens to contribute their talents and energies to the social good. What is required is a profound spirit of voluntary service, a principle cherished in Shia Ismaili culture," unquote. So today, it gives me immense pleasure to recognize the work of Ismaili CIVIC, a global initiative that serves to unite Ismaili communities internationally around a common mission to serve humanity and improve the quality of life of the communities in which they live. The UK chapter of Ismaili CIVIC is comprised of some 350 dedicated volunteers who, since the start of the pandemic, have devoted their time and knowledge to serve those in need, regardless of faith, gender, or race. It's been humbling to see the impact that the UK Ismaili CIVIC team have had on individuals, groups, and organizations across the nation. And I'm excited to see the partnerships between Ismaili CIVIC and charities as well as civil society organizations blossom into impactful relationships that will allow us to deliver on our mission to serve humanity. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all those involved in the launch of this most praiseworthy initiative, and I encourage members of the community who wish to give of their time and knowledge to please reach out to the team. Thank you very much.
His Royal Highness, Prince of Wales, 2010. I can only applaud your emphasis on intellectual and cultural exploration as a means of integration, and your determination to discharge your obligations as citizens of this country without losing your own distinctive traditions.
On Thursday, March 18th, 2021, Ismaili Centre London became the first Ismaili Centre globally to host a COVID-19 testing centre. This testing centre has been set up within the section of the Ismaili Centre known as Zamana Space, with its own entrance onto the main road right opposite the Victoria and Albert Museum and in the heart of South Kensington. Led by Ismaili CIVIC, it offers lateral flow tests that yield results in just 30 minutes. Pre-booking is not required and tests are free and open to all who are asymptomatic of COVID-19. Testing centres like this one are playing a really important role in reassuring local visitors in the area and in enabling people who work in the vicinity to safely begin to open up businesses and to come to work. We hope that the Ismaili Centre will continue to be of such valuable support to our local wider community for as long as it's necessary.
I volunteered and I am a patient advocate and an usher. So those roles involve welcoming people to vaccination centres, pointing them in the right direction, making sure that they can sign up, showing them where they need to go and just checking on them generally. And it's run by the Ismaili CIVIC group and the Aga Khan Health Board and also St John's Ambulance. What we're looking to do is just encourage people to help the community, to help us all as a whole to try and move forward through the terrible time that we're all in at the moment with coronavirus, COVID-19, and as vaccination seems to be the biggest hope for us, anything that we can do in our effort to roll that out as quickly and efficiently as possible is really, really important. It's just such an enormously debilitating event and it's taken so many lives. So if we can do our bit, that's fantastic.
We need the support of community groups to really make sure that people from some of the more deprived minority ethnic backgrounds take control and responsibility for their own healthcare, come forward and get that coronavirus vaccine, whatever some of the scare stories are that people read about on the internet.
Professionally, I'm a GP and a clinical lead in East Surrey on the governing body. I have been actively involved in the national vaccination programme through the delivery of vaccines on the ground and through assurance visits to vaccination hubs to ensure they meet the necessary standards. There's a desperate need for volunteers in all capacities, both medical and non-medical, to get involved. There's been a great effort being put into developing vaccines that protect us from the infection once we're exposed and to prevent us from getting severely ill. I've personally had the COVID vaccination and it's safe to say that this vaccination is no different in terms of side effects compared to other vaccines like the flu jab. It's generally well tolerated. The government and public health forums have been clear that good vaccine coverage within our communities will balance the high risk of the infection by providing us protection from the vaccine.
In the UK, the Foundation is calling on members of the Ismaili community to assist the Prince's Trust in various areas. And one of these areas is our Health and Social Care Initiative, which aims to help young people who have faced disadvantage and adversity into careers in these sectors through job placements and mentorship. The Aga Khan Foundation has worked closely with the Ismaili National Council and with Ismaili CIVIC to identify committed mentors to support young people into sustainable careers. Now, this work couldn't be any more important than it is now, as the sad reality of the intensifying job crisis is that young people are being hit the hardest. The mentors from Ismaili CIVIC are among the first volunteers who have helped us with this project. The relationship has produced some really rewarding experiences for all involved, and we look forward to building on this partnership and are incredibly grateful for it in the months and years ahead.
During the lockdown period, I have got involved in the Prince's Trust mentoring programme for health and social care. I have been working as a community pharmacist for the past 25 years and have gained a wealth of experience during my working journey. So far through the scheme, I have mentored 3 young people. Although they have been very different individuals with very different situations, I feel good about the little difference that I've been able to make in the opportunity I was given to spend time with them. These young people were interested in careers related to mine or were working in careers related to mine. Well, the support was twofold. I got support before entering the programme through the Prince's Trust team, whereby I was able to go through a mentoring training programme. Additionally, I always have someone I am able to talk to from the Prince's Trust team if I need any help. Whilst I was mentoring young people to work towards their career, I learned that this was far from a career advisory service. Mentoring is about listening and understanding their viewpoint and supporting them with my experience. I would recommend anyone who has experience in the given field to look at mentoring, as it not only helps to shape the lives of young people, but also gives you a sense of giving back the experience that you have gained.
I am a personal development trainer, a speaker, and an author. Mentoring really interested me. We sourced some charities, and one of the ones that came through was called Home Start. And they had several groups that they would mentor. And one of them was a mothers group. Mothers who were feeling isolated, who didn't seem to have the confidence to go out there and do something with their life, to go out and socialize. So this was their way of learning and socializing. I feel mentoring is something I think we should take up nationally, as there's a great need for it, especially now with the pandemic and mental health issues on the rise. I think we can help a lot of people gain their confidence back and be out there when the pandemic ends.
The chairman of the Spectrum Buying Consortium. This consortium was set up by a group of Ismaili care home operators in 2002, and we are aiming to be one of the best buying consortiums and now have grown to supplying over 1,000 facilities. Spectrum directors took the initiative to work with Ismaili CIVIC and their partner FairShare in bringing this meaningful collaboration at this most difficult time in our country. We were able to use our close relationship with Bidfoods, a leading food service provider in the UK, to partner in our joint collaboration. FairShare is the UK's largest food redistribution charity, with 25 warehouses across the country redistributing to 11,000 local organisations, which includes our food banks and local charities. To date, we have now delivered roughly 20,000 meals, which equates to about 8 or 9 tons of food, and I think this is a fantastic achievement in this short space of time. The generosity of Spectrum members, Ismaili CIVIC and Bidfood marks the start of a valuable partnership with FairShare going forward. We believe that partnerships are key to progress, as we always achieve more when we combine our strengths. We will continue to develop more partnerships to donate further with Ismaili CIVIC for all good causes, and I'd like to thank Ismaili CIVIC and their team for giving us the opportunity to participate in this most rewarding cause. Thank you very much.
I'm Lindsay Boswell, the Chief Executive of FairShare, and I want to thank you for giving us such generous donations that enable us to get high quality, nutritious food out to frontline people who are vulnerable at the time of this pandemic. FairShare is the UK's largest food redistribution charity, and under normal circumstances, we take surplus food from across the food industry and we redistribute it right across the United Kingdom to approximately 11,000 charities and community groups. However, during the coronavirus pandemic, we've seen applications to receive food from us triple, whilst at the same time, we've had to make significant alterations to how we operate to maintain new social distancing regulations. Since the lockdown started, we've redistributed more than 2 million meals every single week. Donations like yours have enabled us to get the right food out to those frontline charities and community groups supporting the most vulnerable right now. Thank you so much for everything that you've done.
Perhaps now, more than ever, individuals and communities need each other. It's during a time of crisis, like this global pandemic, that communities can and do really come together to do whatever they can to help support the vulnerable and those in need. One of the ways communities support each other is through donations. The Ismaili CIVIC team in Manchester recently had the privilege of offering donations to one of the local branches of the Salvation Army, which is an international charitable organization. 275 gifts were donated on behalf of the Manchester Ismaili community to support the charity's present appeal, which was held in December 2020. Donations included books, toys, toiletries, stationery and school supplies for children from less fortunate families. We were very humbled and elated by the positive feedback received from the centre.
Hi everybody at Manchester Ismaili Civic. Just want to say a massive thank you for all your contributions you've made towards the Salvation Army's Toy Appeal this year. We have over 500 children to help that are in desperate need, and so this year you're going to be bringing some smiles to their faces.
The donations drive was in support of two local charities, the Dalgarno Trust, a community trust serving the residents of North Kensington, and Glassdoor, a charity supporting those affected by homelessness in 4 London boroughs. We have been working with the charities since last August, and they asked for our support with some specific items to see them through the winter months. On the weekend of the 5th and 6th of December, with the support of our Muki Kamrias, IVC team, and Ismaili Civic volunteers, the donations drop-off weekend was held with full compliance with government guidelines. Donations were dropped off by members of the Jamaat or collected from them by a team of volunteers who drove around London. We saw how generously the Jamaat had responded to our appeal. We were so humbled to see what a tremendous response there was.
We thought how we could help people in the wider community in Croydon. So I approached Croydon Council and volunteered our services. They put us through to CVA, Croydon Voluntary Action Group, which is their main charity organization in Croydon. They were very pleased to have us on board, and the first venture was providing some clothing for people they were housing, homeless people they were housing in the local hotels. We managed to get 30 bags of men's clothing within 24 hours and had it delivered to the Croydon Council. And since then we've been providing food, non-perishable items to the CVA on a weekly basis. They also asked us to help them feed vulnerable school children and families, which were referred by the local headmasters. And now it's left a good connection with CVA. CIVIC is well known within Croydon Council, and we're on their Twitter pages and on their news desk, Croydon Council news desk, on a regular basis.
Myself, as a young ambassador, and several other people, including the local Member of Parliament, came together and helped pack food bags for the vulnerable and isolated. We had volunteers from Leicester Jamaat Khana and the Sikh community put together different items in order to make a meal for those who aren't able to have home-cooked food every day and who are struggling in these rough times.
And I'm the Mayor of the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea. And for over 35 years, the Ismaili Centre London and the Ismaili community have been part of this borough. And in December 2020, Ismaili Civic held a donations drive weekend at the Ismaili Centre London. They brought together 3 community organisations from within our borough. These organisations have been instrumental in supporting the vulnerable, particularly in these challenging times. 1/2 ton of non-perishable food, 11 boxes of hygiene items, 5 boxes of hats, scarves and socks, and 15 boxes of books and entertainment goods were donated by Ismaili Civic to Glassdoor and the Dalgarno Trust. And in partnership with Glassdoor, Ismaili Civic volunteers have provided dinner services to the homeless and vulnerable in locations across West London. And on Christmas Day, they cooked and served a festive meal to guests. Ismaili Civic have also supported the Dalgarno Trust by using their language capabilities to translate food bank and family wish list forms into Arabic, Farsi and Urdu. This helps Dalgarno Trust to better serve the rich and diverse mix of the North Kensington community. Plans for a string donation drive weekend are afoot, and the dinner service with Glassdoor will continue to the beginning of summer. As Mayor, I'm delighted to see Ismaili CIVIC, Glassdoor and the Dalgarno Trust partner in this way, in what has been extraordinary times. It's when local organisations work together in this way that strong foundations are laid to build and rebuild a better Kensington and Chelsea, and indeed a better world. Thank you.
I want to say a huge thank you to Ismaili CIVIC for the support they've offered in recent months. We know that older people need our help more than ever, and by working in partnership, we can achieve a great deal more. We're so grateful for the translation services Ismaili CIVIC have offered to Age UK, and we look forward to working with them even more in future. Thank you.
I am the freelance interpreter and translator. I was approached by Ismaili CIVIC with the Age UK COVID-19 information leaflet to be translated from English into Gujarati, and I took this project on with some other Ismaili CIVIC volunteers, and we were able to deliver it with accuracy. Thank you, Ismaili CIVIC, for giving me this opportunity.
There's always a need to put a smile on people's faces, and during the first wave of the pandemic, many vulnerable older people living in care homes and residential homes were left alone away from family and friends. The Smile Through Art initiative was created to encourage members of the Ismaili community to be creative, whether it's drawing, painting, or simply writing a poem or sharing a memory, so that they could share with members of the local community who are isolated in care homes. Well, the Smile Through Art initiative was initially piloted in Leicester Jamaat Khana, where 202 pieces of artwork were submitted and delivered to 5 care homes. This led to a relationship with the Spectrum Consortium, and we created a national drive where a total of 796 pieces of artwork were donated to 28 care homes around the country, which is just phenomenal. It was a humbling experience to know that something that was as small as sharing a memory or a piece of art would have such a massive impact to so many people around the country. I think it united members of the Jamaat nationally during this really difficult time, and it was nice to be a part of something that everybody could contribute to.
Hi, I'm Eloisa, one of the managers of Aspen Place Care Home. We were lucky to be chosen as one of the care homes to receive donated artwork pieces from Ismaili CIVIC. Ultimately, it's put a smile on all of our residents' faces, and our staff has enjoyed the artwork as well around the home. In this period of isolation, it's ultimately made our residents feel loved and thought of, and we are lucky to be receiving this artwork. Some have decided to put them up in their bedrooms, and some of them are in our lounges. So once again, thank you very much, Ismaili CIVIC, for this lovely art pieces.
I, Gulibai Karim of Manchester Jamaat, have created all these art pieces for Smile Through Art.
I'm painting this hot air balloon to make people smile and brighten their day.
Hi, my name is Ishan. I am drawing this rainbow to make people smile, and I am 6 years old.
Hello, my name is Zayn and I'm 5.5 and I'm here to brighten someone's day.
I'm drawing a house. I'm smiling through art.
Food and cooking are integral parts of our lives. It's more than just a provider of nutrients or energy to fuel our existence. It's a social activity that binds families and friends together. When the Manchester Ismaili Civic team spoke to me about their idea of a multicultural e-cookbook, I thought this was an incredible way to unite around our heritage through the different foods and dishes that we eat within the Jamaat. Using a theme of celebration, the team are talking to communities outside of the Jamaat to capture typical dishes and recipes that represent the diverse mix of the United Kingdom. The Ismaili Civic e-cookbook is an opportunity to share our cultural heritage with the communities in which we live. But it's also an opportunity for us to better understand the cultural heritage of our neighbours through food. By embracing this diversity, we have an opportunity to work with other faiths, other cultural groups, to collectively improve the communities and societies in which we live. When I talk to Ismailis in the UK or in North America, a taste of our cooking uncovers stories of experimental cooking at university when you missed home-cooked meals, or variations on what was essentially an East African focused collection shared with South Asian and Central Asian ones. The key thing is that the book created conversation and engagement, and my hope is that 35 years from now, the Ismaili Civic e-cookbook creates that same conversation and engagement, but not just within the Ismaili community, but across all communities. And what our institutions do is absolutely incredible. Extending the amazing talent of the Ismaili community to the wider community formally has been a long time coming. So being part of the Ismaili Civic movement, where we engage with organisations to better society, speaks to long-held personal beliefs and guidance from His Highness the Aga Khan to build bridges.
Domestic abuse not only indicates violence, but includes other types of abuse too. People can be subject to all sorts, such as emotional abuse, financial and sexual abuse. Also, it cannot be assumed that domestic abuse occurs only between husband and wife, meaning that others in the house from any generation could be carrying out the harm. One of our up-and-coming projects this year is to engage and partner with a nationally recognised charity to offer our support to those who may be fleeing an unsafe family environment. This project will involve supporting refuge shelters by providing donated items such as mobile phones, food vouchers and parcels, and toiletries. Currently, we have 7 regions in the UK who have signed up their Ismaili Civic volunteers to be part of this long-term project and relationship. In our work, Ismaili Civic initiatives like this, we aim to break down the barriers of understanding within our community so that we can raise awareness and openly discuss an issue which is somewhat taboo. And as a result, we can bring our community together to support those in the wider community who may be suffering by providing them with the necessities they require to carry on and function. I'm immensely proud to be leading such a meaningful and impacting initiative, and to be working with great people from all over the UK who have the same desire, and that is to make life better for those who are going through some tough times.
So NBRN is the National Business Response Network, and what the National Business Response Network is all about is helping other organisations and other charities during these difficult times to support the communities around them. And what we're doing is working with them as a partner organisation to support them in every way we can. And there's some very exciting things we're doing, some very exciting opportunities, and some of them that spring to mind are the air ambulance service, which I'm very passionate about, and something where we can add some real value.
I always get a smile on my face when I talk about Ismaili Civic. It's the best thing that I think we've got for so many members of the Jamaat, in fact all members of the Jamaat, to be able to volunteer with externally, with people within their communities. It's a real chance for people to get to know their neighbours properly and for Jamaats to become real sort of pillars within local society. The planned tree planting initiative is something that's going to be part of Ismaili Civic's future once the coronavirus pandemic is over. It's a chance for the Jamaat and friends, family, neighbours and other community members to get involved with an environmental action task and project which will, in the long term, do wonders for our local environment and for our health. I think Ismaili Civic has a really leading role that it can play within environmental sustainability and climate change issues going forward. I think that Civic is here to stay, and the members of the Jamaat are all dying to get involved with certain activities and projects, and this will give them a chance to do so.
Since we launched Ismaili Civic UK in March 2020, the Ismaili Civic team has partnered with in excess of 25 national and local charities and civic society partners to deliver over 50 projects nationwide, involving close to 4,500 volunteers, 12,000 man-hours, and importantly, impacting the lives of over 32,000 beneficiaries. Ultimately, for our team, it's about having a positive impact on society, helping the vulnerable members of our communities, supporting those in need, and selflessly contributing to our wider communities as citizens and members of society. Like all our volunteers, the Ismaili Civic team serve with passion, energy, and the desire to make their local community a better place. On behalf of the Ismaili National Council for the UK and the Ismaili Civic team, I would like to acknowledge and thank all our national and local partners for their friendship, trust, support, and collaboration. I would also like to acknowledge all our volunteers who are pillars and exemplars of our community, embody and live our values, and so generously share their time and knowledge for the benefit of our societies. And last but not least, I would like to express my sincere gratitude and admiration to the entire Ismaili Civic UK team for their vision, passion, commitment, and professionalism. As Ralph Waldo Emerson said, the purpose of life is not to be happy. It is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to have it make some difference that you have lived and lived well. Whether you are a volunteer, partner, or member of the community at large, Ismaili Civic looks forward to continuing to learn from you, serve you, and selflessly work with you to support the needs of our community and society at large over the years and decades ahead. Thank you.
Do you have a strong ethic for volunteerism? Would you like the opportunity to be part of some truly inspirational projects? I have been part of Ismaili Civic since last year, and I think you should too. There are some truly inspirational and fantastic projects to be part of that will help the external community. Well, what are you waiting for? Register now on the Ismaili app.
Hi, my name is Nisha Qasim and I am an Ismaili Civic representative. I joined Ismaili Civic as I wanted to get involved in projects that made a difference and impacted the wider local community. Civic is a really great initiative to get involved in. So please come and join us by volunteering and help us to make a difference.
Hello, I'm Gohar. I have recently joined Ismaili Civic and I love it. They are all a lovely bunch of people and I get to work on all sorts of different projects. So grab your phone now and register to be a volunteer for Ismaili Civic. Do it now, you're gonna love it. Bye!
As expressed by the Mayor of London, the Ismaili community embraces the spirit of all Londoners who don't just tolerate each other. We respect, celebrate, and embrace each other. The Right Honourable Sadiq Khan, June 2017.